Buyers lose a $320,000 deposit. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee, and I want to have a look at this article from news.com.au because, well, it's framed in a funny and strange way. So, a weird detail let sellers keep a Victorian family's $320,000 house deposit. Now, just remember how this has been framed, because it's not really weird at all. Once again, it's a buyer making a stupid mistake, and a well-educated, highly intelligent buyer making a stupid mistake. And here's the thing, guys. You got to realize you may be an expert in one field, but when it comes to business, you may make stupid decisions. This is why you hear all the professionals going in on Ponzi schemes and stuff, just as much as everyone else. So, a family with 3 young kids under the age of 12 thought they'd secured their $3.2 million dream home until one clause in the contract left them ruined. Okay. A Victorian family who lost their entire $320,000 home deposit are now warning other aspiring property owners to look out for legal loopholes that left them penniless. Sam Gade, 42, and his wife Nardine, 37, thought they had found the perfect place for themselves and their 3 kids, who are under the age of 12, back in 2019. Based in Bendigo, the family were looking to move to Melbourne for their kids' schooling and found their dream home in Balwyn. They scored the 4-bedroom, 4-bathroom, 753 square metre mansion for $3.2 million in June 2019, and were meant to settle on the property in December that year. But now, exactly 2 years later, they have no savings to their name, live in a very tiny house, and have had to lie to their children about their sudden change in fortune. See, this is the thing. You shouldn't lie to your kids if you made a stupid mistake. It was a tough time. It was like minus in our bank account. We used all our credit cards. We were in overdraft, he told news.com.au. This has been a real mess, this whole situation. I feel sorry for these people, but you've got to wait till you see what they did. It all started when he noticed something weird in the contract. This isn't weird. Mr. and Mrs. Gade are originally from Egypt and moved to Australia 10 years ago as citizens. That's when we started to save and try to buy our dream. Both of us were saving. We were planning to buy a house, he recalled. They eventually nabbed a home in Bendigo in regional Victoria. And Bendigo's a nice city. You can go to Sovereign Hill, guys. Once was that? That's Ballarat. That's Ballarat. It's all near there. Once he got his health business accredited, and his wife finished her medical exams to become a qualified psychiatrist, they were able to refinance their home. They used their life savings and equity from this house to get together $320,000 down payment for the new purchase. But when it came to signing the contract, the couple noticed the subject to finance clause had been removed. So had they negotiated it for subject to finance? Was it removed? And they agreed to it. This is the issue here. They opened themselves up to that other risk. It's an important clause in a standard home contract, which gives the buyer the legal right to dip out if their bank won't approve the loan. But it was a bit weird when they removed the subject to finance clause, he recalled. We wanted the house, of course, and we got emotionally attached to the house. We liked it. So they got too attached to it. That's the problem. It's just a house. They got too attached to it. So they compromised. And he didn't get a lawyer going through it. He didn't have a buyer's agent. It doesn't look like. And I got to turn off this alarm. So, there's the property. It's beautiful. It's a lovely house. Big house, big pool. He also felt pressured into signing the contract with the revised conditions because the real estate agent told him there were other potential buyers waiting in the wings. They're always going to tell you that. It's bullshit. It may, and if it's true, you don't want to be pressured into compromising. You've got to be able to walk away. That's the problem. Sometimes you can't. I know when, a few years ago, when I had a whole team of people working for us, there'd be conditions I'd have to accept on contracts to just take the job because I needed the cash flow coming in just to keep the people moving. That was a messy situation to be in. I didn't like it. You don't want to be in a situation like that, guys. You need to have enough FU money to just walk away from a potential job or not get so emotionally invested or have another party negotiating this on your behalf. So he made a foolish error there jumping into it. I was worried they would sell the house to someone else, he said. See, they pressured him. We had the same thing. Actually, on my mother's house sale, the real estate agent marked up the contract in pen to add additional clauses to it after she'd signed it. So it was insane. I rang them up. I went off at them. And it's funny, they wanted to help her find another house, but after dealing with me, they never spoke to her again. This is real estate agents, licensed professionals. They also wanted us to release the funds held in trust early for them. Unbelievable. What a joke. You gotta watch out. It's only like a 2-week course, guys. It's not a profession. Sorry to all the real estate agents. The agents have great sales techniques. They sell 10 houses a month. I buy 1 house every 10 years. So the couple signed the contract. Everything was in order. If they insisted on removing the clause, we thought we could manage. We were not planning to withdraw, he continued. It would be far from our thinking that there could be a loophole in the Australian legal system. Now, this isn't a loophole. Watch what happened. He didn't do his research. So he had put his household income into a loan calculator and assumed he would be eligible for the same type of loan he had used to purchase his first home, a 90% doctor's scheme loan, which allows medical professionals to borrow up to 90% of the value of a home without having to pay lenders' mortgage insurance. But after the contract was signed, he got some bad news. The bank had a $2 million threshold for its doctor's scheme, which he'd never heard of before. Why wouldn't you go in and talk to the bank and get it all sorted before you even made the offer? Just putting it on a website. The website's putting it in there. That's just to whet your appetite. You got to go talk to someone. I mean, why wouldn't you have a mortgage broker working with you on this? Instead of being able to receive 90% of the home loan from the bank, they can only get 85%. And this is the real twist here in this story because they were so close, these poor people. At the moment, we became very stressed and sought every avenue to arrange 5%, he said. He frantically tried to get cash for the last 5% of the property, which amounted to $160,000, as well as a further $160,000 due on stamp duty for settlement day. He tried selling part of his stake in the company he owned. He tried selling his family's Bendigo home. However, both sales couldn't be done in time. I asked the real estate agent to discuss with the vendor if we could pay 90% and pay back the 5%. They declined, he added. But the vendor declined, the deal lapsed, and the vendor then took his $320,000 deposit as they were entitled to by law. I mean, this is the second story we're seeing of this where people are losing their deposit. The last one was the banks screwed around the couple. Here, it's not planning. It's not planning. I can understand why. We had great aspirations and dreams, he said. Now we're moved in a different direction and we're trying to save our livelihoods. We lost all our savings before lockdown and the pandemic. During the pandemic, of course, the business slowed down significantly. We've saved nothing still. During the lockdowns, we couldn't save anything. If you want to punish me for wasting the vendor's time, at least make it proportionate. Don't take all my savings, he pointed out. Yeah, I mean, should it be considered liquidated damages? Along those lines, not a penalty, but this is the thing. It is, I mean, yeah, you wasted their time for a year or however long, all the costs, all the staging, all the real estate charges. Yeah, I mean, there wouldn't be much left of the $360,000 on a $3.2 million property for all the costs that you're bearing. To date, the vendors haven't resold after his deal fell through. Annabelle Feng, the RT Edgar, real estate agent who made the sale, told News.com she received a commission for the aborted sale. She said it was the vendor's idea to remove the subject to finance clause. We can't suggest, we just tell them the purchaser what the options are, she told news.com.au. Normally we let every purchaser know what their rights and their obligations are. They are free to make their decisions. She also said the seller had decided to rent the house out instead, which is why it never resold. News.com reached out to the vendor through their solicitors for comment but received no reply. Well, of course, they wouldn't reply. The family are currently renting a small house in Melbourne. They have no idea if they'll ever manage to own a home in Melbourne after the setback. So, let's talk about this one, guys. Okay? What we're seeing here is a man who thought he knew all the answers and didn't take the time to do it properly. And I think a lot of us can relate to that. Have you made stupid mistakes like that in the past? The sad thing is it cost this guy $320,000. But at the very least, the fact that this article has been written and put out there, we can learn a lesson from it. What do you reckon? Hopefully we can. Anyway, guys, check out this last video about another young couple losing their deposit. And that one turned out to be a complete mess as well. Oh, it's all fun and games in property here in Australia, isn't it? Take care, and I'll see you all in the next episode. Bye for now, everyone. Enjoy your coffee.